Hi, I am back. That's right. Right with Carla is here to help you uncork the story bottled inside of you. So, congratulations. You have made it to Module 2. That's right, Module 2. Storytime Basics. So now you should have been able to print out your worksheets and follow along, but we'll do a little bit of writing this time. Last module we really didn't do any writing, but this time you actually get to put the pen down to paper. So it should be a little exciting, right? Yay! So the information that we're going to cover is kind of like a medium-bodied white wine, kind of like what I have right here. A nice Sauvignon Blanc. You can taste melon and passion fruit. It's a little bit more aggressive than a light bodied white wine, and that's why we had light bodied white wine in the first module. But this you can pair with chicken or fish or even Mexican fare. So get ready. Let's dive into it. So, what are you writing about? You say, okay, I have this story. I know I want to talk about what? So if we're sitting down at a table, tell me in one sentence, what is your story about? This is called your one-liner. So think about your favorite movie. Coming to America. It's not my favorite, but we'll roll with it. So Coming to America, you have an African prince who doesn't want to marry who they want to marry. He wants to find his own bride. That's your one-liner. So right now on your worksheet, write what is the one-liner for your story. This will help us to develop the outline. It'll help us to elaborate in a few minutes. But for right now, one-liner. Good. Hopefully you were able to get something down. Now, I want you to think about a paragraph. So take the one-liner and give me 4 or 5 sentences describing the one-liner. You want to expand on that. Now, you don't have to do it right now, but when you come back to it, come to your worksheet and utilize the space. So think about the Coming to America example. How can you take the prince who doesn't want to be married to the woman that they've already promised to him? He wants to find his own bride and ends up coming to America. He brings his best friend with him. Well, his dad sends a best friend with him to keep him on track and make sure that he has fun, but he's still safe. While in America, he finds somebody who he thinks who really truly could be the love of his life because she doesn't know who he is and she loves him for him. The parents are not happy about it. They come to get him and they bring the woman over so he can marry her, and they live happily ever after. Okay, so there's your paragraph. That's poetry in motion. But we're slowly uncorking the bottle. So we've gone from a one-liner to a paragraph. Now, think about your main goal. This is the takeaway. What do you want your readers to take away with them after they have read your story? What is your main character trying to accomplish? Well, still using the same example, the Eddie Murphy character wanted to find a bride, someone who loved him for who he was. What is the biggest obstacle of the story? Finding a woman, duh. 2, what is the 3, what is the tragedy he needed to overcome? Well, in a sense, he's kind of breaking his parents' hearts. He's breaking tradition, leaving the country where he is to find a woman who is foreign to his native land, and kind of starting a new tradition on his own, which some people will celebrate the fact that he was bold enough and brave enough to go and find love on his own, where other people are like, this is tradition, don't break it. We have beautiful women here who you can learn to love, so stay here. But that would be the tragedy. Where is the mystery? Well, will he find someone or will he not? That's the mystery. And the main problem, obviously, would be the one-liner. So as you are looking over your paragraph, ask yourself these questions. This, once again, as we expound, will help you to decide the direction that the writing should go. Do I need an outline? I get this question every other day. And I have to say absolutely, positively, unequivocally, yes. A GPS for writing is what an outline is. It's basically like going somewhere you've never been, but you're trying to get there without a map. So if you've never written a book, or if you've never written this book that is in your head that you're trying to write, of course you've never written it. It's still in your head. How can you get it done if you don't know where you're going? You don't know what the characters are doing. You don't know what they look like. You don't know what obstacles are coming toward them. You have to have an outline. An outline for you is a guide that will help propel you from thought to book in your hand, right? Okay, so break it up into parts, and this will help you with your outline. You can break it up into chapters or acts, even though acts, that's kind of antiquated. They don't really do that. That's like Shakespearean literature. Those are the type of authors who did acts. In sci-fi, they do acts also. Chapters is by far the more common way to break it up. In that, you can do past, present, future, as in we're talking about a 25-year-old heroine. She's going to bring us up to speed about her life. That's the past aspect. And then we'll take the book and move forward. Past, present, future. And that's usually also very common when you're doing fiction. But you don't have to necessarily give all of their history right away. You can do glimpses of it in flashbacks, or you can have the characters describe things from their past that help to show who they are and why they act the way they do, why they say the things that they say, why their goals are what their goals are, because they are showing us glimpses of their past through conversation, and through the third person narrative, which we will get to. Before or after a life-changing event. Eat, Pray, Love is a very good example of this. So the story takes place where she's living a life, married. She wakes up one day and says, oh my gosh, I don't want to be married anymore. I'm not happy with my life. I hate my job. And she goes backpacking through Europe. So her life-changing event is that epiphany, that aha moment. I don't have to live here where I am, with who I'm living with, doing what I'm doing. I can live a purpose-filled life. I can do something that I'm passionate about. So your characters may have a before and after the life-changing event. Could be a car accident. It could be a divorce. It could be a death or birth. So think of how you want your story structured, and then we'll dive into this outline. So initially, to begin, look at your paper. You will see there is a blank space. This is your brain dump space. I love, love, love brain dumps because you're getting everything in your head out on paper. So you can just say, for instance, if you are writing a memoir, you can write third grade kiss story. Well, you don't have to write stories because they're all going to be stories, but bullet point. Third grade kiss, bullet point. My parents' divorce, bullet point. First day of college, bullet point. Meeting my husband, bullet point. The coffee shop. So what you're doing is you're just throwing down ideas that you want to talk about, or if this is fiction, just things that come to mind that maybe you're pulling from your own life to incorporate into the story, or things that you know because you've been thinking about the story for so long, things that you know your character has to do or has to overcome to get to the main point of the book, for him to reach his goal at the end of the story. So the brain dump is just you throwing things out there. It can be make character look like Larry from Starbucks. Who knows what it is, but your brain dump is anything you can think. Names, characteristics, personal attributes, like maybe they have a scratch on their face or something like that. Your brain dump is just getting ideas out on paper. After you've done that, then we want to do main ideas. So no numbers, no names of chapters. We're using only keywords. We are beginning to end. Oh yes, where's the story taking place? This is just general ideas. This is not for structure, so don't beat yourself up about it. And if the page is totally cataclysmic, just a mess, that's fine. That is what we want. Organized chaos. Trust me, it will be organized later. Your brain dump should take, let's say 30 minutes to an hour. This will be in one of your writing happy places. So this is somewhere that you can think and meditate and really just get down into the nuts and bolts of the book, of the writing, I'm sorry. So after your brain dump, then you want to say, okay, now we need some structure. Now we need to figure out an order that these things should happen. Okay, so take all of your stories and write them. You'll see the numbers 1, 2, 3. Now these numbers are not necessarily in order as they will appear in the book, but you're just writing it out. So there's no more white space. Now we've organized. As you write, as you transfer the main ideas from the brain dump page to the organized page, draw a line. That way you're sure that you're writing all of the information from the brain dump page onto the next page. Okay? Now, after you've done that, then you want to organize by order that they happen. So now things have to be in order. This is the way it will appear in the book. So we are beginning the foundation for your outline. Once again, we're only doing main ideas. So you'll have 1, and number 1 might be the birth of your child, but on your brain dump page, it was number 17. Draw a line, come up number 1, birth of my child. Got it? Make sure you transfer everything from the brain dump page to the organized page, now to your outline page. And you'll see, looking at your worksheet, how these things should be organized. But keep everything in order. Make sure when you're done with one item, it is transferred before you line through it. That way you're sure you have all of the information there. Now, this is going to take a while. So give yourself about an hour or 2 to make sure that you are strategic, you are careful, and you are transferring everything that you need to transfer. So once that's done, now we can add your supporting points. So these are the things that have to happen to move the story along. These are the little things. These are the small nuances that have to take place. So let's say, for instance, one of the major points was him going to America, right? The sub point for the Eddie Murphy character going to America was choosing a location, flying to the location, setting up residence in the location. So all of that is part of him coming to America. So think about what has to happen from main point to main point that needs to happen in that chapter to move the story along. It can be a little tricky, but think of little things that you do in your day-to-day life. You don't just say, oh, I'm waking up and I'm going to work. It doesn't happen that way. What happens as you're getting ready for work? Look at the example on your page. You brush your teeth, you wash your face, you put on clothes, you do your hair. You don't just walk out of the door, right? So you see the example of main points and subpoints. Organize your story that way. This I wouldn't put a time frame on. I would not necessarily say you could do this in an hour or 2. This may take a couple days of you looking at it, thinking about it, and saying, oh gosh, I need to connect this to this. Okay, wait, I can't think of any subpoints between 7 and 8. This is where the magic takes place. These are the little things. These are the dates. These are the going to the stores. These are the meeting people at the gas station. This is dealing with your coworkers at work. The little things that you do on a day-to-day basis that your characters have to do in order for those things to happen. If you need a little help, I suggest watching one of your favorite movies. And I'm talking a movie that you could easily recite the lines to. As you watch the movie, write down the point of each scene that takes place. The average movie probably has between 50 to 65 scenes. So you want to write the scene and then what happens in the scene. Do that for every scene, and you will get an idea of how your outline should look. If you have 3 to 5 supporting points for each main point, it'll help, because as you're writing, you write about him choosing the location, right? So we'll say, okay, he got a map, a globe, and clicked on the globe. He spun it around. Da, 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 da. Okay, what happens after that? He finds Queens, and then da, 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 da. What's the next sub point? Next sub point is arriving in America. Okay, what's going to happen? Oh, flies to America, hops a taxi from the airport. So your sub points are what you use to help you write. When you get to a point where I've written all I could possibly write about him hailing a cab from the airport to an apartment complex, then you think, oh my gosh, what's going on? Is this writer's block? No, it's not. That means you just need to move on to the next point. So in order to keep yourself on track, it helps to know how many words you need. I like to use a combination of words and pages, because for the novice writer, me telling you need 70,000 words, it sounds impossible. Like, oh my God, I don't even know 70,000 words. How can I write 70,000 words? That is so crazy. It's really not. You can do it. Trust me, you can. 70,000 words, once formatted, will probably be about 230, 245 pages, depending on your margins and sizing. So if you want to say, I can write 3 to 4 pages a day, or if you want to say, I can write 1,500 pages a day, it's up to you. But keep in mind how many you need for your genre. Once you figure out how many words you need, divide that number by however many weeks you're giving yourself. So as you can see, the example is for 52 weeks. That is absolutely preposterous. If it takes you a year to write a book, then you will lose your passion for it. You'll lose your fire for it. You won't even want to complete the project because it's dragging on so long. Think about online shopping, right? You go online, go to Amazon, you order something, and then you wait. And you wait, and you're so excited, right? Because you know that this box is coming in the mail. What if it took you 3 months for the box to come in the mail? Would you be as excited as you were when you ordered it? I don't think so. Writing a book is the same way. Don't drag it out. Don't give yourself a year to write it. It will never get written. I highly recommend 3 to 6 months. So look at your word count for your genre and think, how many words do I need to write? If I write 3 days a week, I need to write this many words to get to my goal in 3 to 6 months. Okay? You are ready. You are ready. It's time to go to module 3. Congratulations. You have made it through your medium-bodied white wine module. And now it is time for the good stuff. I hope you're ready. See you soon. Happy writing.